today. But from tomorrow, we'll be starting class at 8 o'clock, guys. Okay. So we should take like little more time. We have a lot of things that we have to cover still. Okay. So yesterday we were discussing about actions classes. We discussed about how do we click on an element. So what we discussed is like clicking on element and we do the context click. Context click is right click. Okay. And go to element. And then we have like double click. And then we looked into like why do we use build and how do we perform. And after that, we looked into drag and drop. Okay. And another one is like scroll by, scroll by. Right. Like 0 and some value. So here we define it as like positive value would be like x and y axis here. Okay. So x is we have 0 and positive value, then it is like vertical down scrolling. It is like 0 and negative value, then it is like scrolling to top. And again, similar like x value is like positive and this is like 0, then it is like scrolling right to left to right and right to left in case of negative value. Okay. So we discussed about this thing. So still we have a lot, few other things that we'll discuss, which will be useful as part of our automation testing. I was trying to search for the sites which will help you to understand the different functionalities and different ways of using that particular actions classes. So we'll go to a slider. Okay, so here you can see you can drag and drop with the help of like you are using mouse, right? So we have to drag and drop with the help of the mouse, or we can use keyboard also. Okay, but we have to click on it. Okay, so click and so you can click on it, hold it, and release it. Okay, so where do you want to release it? That we have to define here. Okay, so click, hold, and release. Okay, so drag for a few, go to certain place here, and you can drop it. So how do we perform this set of things? Okay, in case of sliders, we have sliders here, and we have some. We take the sliders. So this is one slider. So here also you can see there are like color picks. So you can drag them. So custom sliders. If you want to see that, what is the value of it, and range sliders. Okay. So once we look into the default slider functionality, then we can immediately understand, like, we can understand how do we exactly perform actions on the rest of the sliders. Okay. So we'll try to take the example of this. I'll take the example from here. And in the actions classes, I'm going to create this package. I'm going to create about sliders. Okay. Okay. Slider sample. So we'll try to take this. From here, I'll copy it. Okay. So that is within the frame. First, we'll try to identify that element. So how do we identify the element? We have already done this, right? So window handle dot get element. So by dot x path, and here I'm going to write x path. So come here and try to. So you can see this is within the frame. Okay. So you can see this is within the frame. So we need to identify this one. Okay. So inspect this element. So slider, you can see this is like So now what we need to do is like we need to identify this. This is within the span and it contains. Why do we need to take contents? Is like class has like some spaces in it. So I want to just check with the contents. So now we got this element. Okay. We'll try to. We got this element now. So it's going to return me the web element. So I'll try to take it in a web element. So element dot. So what we have to do, we have to use actions classes and move to element. If you want to go to move to element, that is also fine. But we have anyways, like we can just go and see what click and hold. I'm just clicking on that element and I'm just holding on it. Okay. So after that, I'll just release it. Okay. So action dot release. Wait for 2 seconds and then we can release. Okay. So pass duration dot off seconds 3 seconds. Then I'll release it. Okay. So we'll see that what happens now. Okay. It'll take some time, guys. Let me just let's wait for a few seconds. It clicked on it, it will release. Okay. See, it is releasing that. So what happened here? First, it clicked on it and it waited for some seconds and it moved to this element and clicked on hold on it, click and hold it on it, and after that it released. Okay. Now you see, move to the element, click and hold. So same actions I'm going to do manually. Okay. So now you see, I'm just clicking on this and I'm holding on it. Okay. So we need to move. Okay. So for this, what we have to do is like click and hold, pass for 2 seconds. After that, what I'm going to do is like I'll drag and drop. Okay. So drag and drop here, I'm going to give some offsets. Okay. From 0 till some 250. Okay. So just I'm giving some offsets here, drag and drop. Let me just check what is that. Here. So drag and drop by. Okay. So what is that element already we have clicked on it, right? So I'll just drag and drop. Okay. After that, I'm going to release it. So you need not to put this one, move to elementary. See, click and hold is like, again, we have a web element that will be available here. This is like optional. We may use or we may not use it. Like we are switching to that frame and we are identifying that element. After that, I'm just dragging and dropping by some. So after that, I'm just releasing it. Okay. And I'll show you another way also. What do we do? Okay. Let me do it again. Releasing. Let me just change this one. So from see, what it did, it clicked and hold, and after that it dragged here and it just released it. Okay. So click and hold is like if you want to drag and drop somewhere, if you want to give the positions. Okay. So for example, if just see, I'll open this here. See, I want to just, I'm clicking and holding on it. Okay. So if you want to like, drop somewhere. Okay. So drop somewhere. If you want to like, scroll to this particular position, in that case, what we have to do is like, we can use the indexing. Okay. So index is X and Y indexes, like values of it. Okay. So in which, where you want to exactly drop this element, or else where you want to drag and hold, like, release the hold of it. Okay. So click and hold is like, it will click and hold that element. Okay. Release is like, it's going to release it. Okay. So drag and drop is like, you can use the drag and drop in conjunction with this click and hold, or directly you can use this one. Okay. So there are options that are available here. Now you see, I will perform the same actions here. So drag and drop by will do the same thing. You need not to release it. So if you put this release, it doesn't make any like, problem for us. Now you see, this is one way of doing it. Okay. Let me just do one thing. I'll just copy this line and I'm going to put it here. I'll comment just 2 lines here and I'm just going to put drag and drop. So this is only one action that we can perform, is like we can just use this one. Okay. So because we are dragging and dropping that element. Okay. So whichever way is possible, that way we can use it. Okay. So here what we can do is like, now you see, so it dragged and dropped it. Okay. So it dragged and dropped it. So this is like one way of doing it. The another way also we try to do is right. So we can just use this and we can drag and drop the element. So pass. And if you want to move to that particular area, like for example, let us say, you know the position of this. For example, if you want to track, see, I'm just taking the pixels from 0 to 250. If you take something like, it's kind of like a pixel, based on the pixel where exactly you want to drag and drop. Okay. So in that case, we can just use this, pixels. That's the thing, drag and drop. So the other way is like, we can still go and use that move to element, and then after we can drag and drop that element into certain location. Okay. So are you clear with this, guys? Do you have any doubts here?
Yes.
So we can use drag and drop for this slider, and the other way is like directly we can use I'll show you the example other way also. Like this is like for the sliders, this is one way, and this is second way, and other way is like you can click and move that particular element to that location. Let me just show you. Act dot. So I'm taking the other examples. Click on element, pass for duration dot of seconds, 3 dot move to, see, target and index location, from where you want to move to this particular element. Okay, and I'll take element. Click on that element, move to that, but I'm clicking on that element. Okay, so only it will do the click here. Okay, only it will do the click here. So if you want like click and hold, just we can click and hold on the element, then move to this particular location, then release. Okay, we'll do the same actions again. See, now it moved from this location to this location. Okay, so we can use any of these approaches. See, directly you can use click and hold, then drag and drop, then directly use the drag and drop, then or else you want to use the move to element, and we can use the element, and from where to where you want to move that element. Okay, so it's like clicking and holding, then after you move to that element and you can just release that. Okay, release is like releasing that particular element, like whatever. If you are clicking on that, if you are click and hold on that, it will release the whole. Okay, so like this we'll be working on this particular slides. Let me just show you the other examples also for this. Okay, this one. Say color picker also, you can just move this forward, backward, or else you can move on this. Okay, so what we need to do is like we need to just identify this element. Together we have red, green, blue. Inside that what we have is like we have UI slider. All three sliders, what we have is like all three sliders we can able to see here. So what I want to do is like I want to capture this, all comes under the div. So this is coming under the body wizard. Okay, but here you can see red, green, blue, and we have like so what I want to do is like I want to capture the group of them. Okay, it's like kind of like a group of elements which are available here. I want to capture all of them, and I want to just do the scrolling on it. Okay, now you can see we have a class called, it's like horizontal scrolling UI slider. I'll capture this. Control F, then div. What is that we have is like a class contains class okay. So we have three sliders, we have three things which are available here. Under this what we have to do is like we will go and try to identify the span. Okay, do you able to see that now? All three elements are getting identified. So I'll take them. Here, what is that we have is like color picker. Okay, so I'll take the color picker. And let me do one thing. I'll just write it as like a. Okay, for outside, I'll just write one other method here, public. Static void slide. Multi slide. Just to change this IDs and everything. So for that, as I'm just taking this. The element is already defined here. So let's remove this. What you want to change here is like you want to change this particular column. We have identified them, but it's going to return a list of web elements. Okay, so a list of web elements. So I'll take this. For now, I'll just remove all these things I'll be using. Okay, so get all elements that we have taken. Okay, so we have already done that function. What we have to do is like get all elements, right? We get all elements. Okay, come here, change this functionality. Now it's like I'm just taking web element. Okay, so one element at a time I'm just taking and just dragging and dropping it. Okay, so let's go and try to call this method. So multi-slide, I'm just calling it. Okay, a slide. It's going to execute this code. Java virtual machine driver needs to be set. Okay. But what is the problem here? It shows like null value here. So that is the reason why. So we should be getting the driver, right? So if you don't get the driver, then this actions classes will not be initiated. Okay. So I need to. Now you see. Okay, it's throwing exception that driver, we are initializing the actions classes, but driver is not available. See it moved. Okay, this is already there. That's nothing, but it is already at the end of it. So this was here and this was here. So that's the reason why it was moving it. Okay. So let's move it backwards. So if you need to move the backwards, then we have to use like minus 100. Okay. So it does not have that. Yeah. So now it is not releasing because it does not have those many sets of pixels. Okay. So that's the reason why it is not doing that. Let me just change it to 25. Less number of pixels that I want to drag, less number of pixels. Stale element reference exception. Okay. Okay. So earlier it did not get those many pixels to drag because it is not available. Pixels are not available. So it was not releasing that. Okay. It was like clicking and holding on it. So likewise, we can just drag and drop the slides. Another one is like custom handle slides. until where you want to drag and drop it. Okay. For example, if you want to inspect this, you can see what is the value of it. So it is like having the value 42. Okay. So what it has to is like it has to drag that element. Okay. So few like a few number of pixels, then check for the value. Check for the value. Likewise, we have to continuously check for this value. Okay. So it starts from 0. Okay. So you have to put it in a for loop and you have to check for the value. Okay. So if that value matches, then we can just go ahead and break that one. Okay, now you see dynamically it's changing its value, right? Div and custom handle. In that we have a value here. So first we need to identify this one. So what is that? We have a ID slider. Inside that we have a custom handle. Okay, custom handle and get the value of it. Okay, so div ID, custom handle and get the value of it. Let's see that what value that we are going to get as part of this custom handle first. Okay, so div ID, control F, and here put div that ID. Okay, so if I take this one and I'm going to write one other method here, just copy paste it, take everything and just change the URL of it. So what is that? It is a custom handle. Custom slide. So this is only a web element. Okay, so one web element what we have. So here I'll remove get element. Okay, so this is not required. Let me take element. Okay, first we'll try to drag. First we'll see that what is that. What is the text of that? Okay, so because we have the text available, right? Element dot get text. I'll just change it. I'm going to change the we'll be calling it here. Here, let me just run it and see that what is the text that we are going to get initially. We should be getting the text of it. So it's showing 0, right? So what we do is like we'll try to drag it. Okay. So here we are going to take this for loop. Int I is equals to from V0 will start until what you want to drag is like less than or equal to 45 I plus plus. So now what we do is like directly we'll put it in for loop. We are going to drag it. So what is that index that we are going to take? I. Okay. So let's go and see what happens now. We'll give only 1 second. Okay. So what is it doing now? It is dragging. Click hold, move to that element, move to that element. So, but it is not breaking here. Can you see this? It's not breaking. Okay. So what we need to do is like we need to break it. Otherwise, it will continuously go and check for them. So here I'm going to check if I value. So what we do is like we'll put this condition. Okay. Then we have to break it. So because it's like it will keep on incrementing the value and I value will be here and we are not just checking for I value, right? So what it is doing is like for every value that we are putting as like I value. So it's like one time is like it's just taking like three pixels of it. Okay, so that's the reason why it's like just it's going and scrolling that in. So here if I say I is equals to I is less than or equal to 45, then in that case what happens is like again, yeah, let's see that what happens. Okay, so I'll just reduce it to 20. I mean like 20 clicks and holding, like 20 clicks and holding. Otherwise, we can get the text of it and we can try to see it. Okay, so let me just check that one. Otherwise, we can take another condition here. I'll put the same condition here. But what we do is like here we are going to check. We'll drag it and we'll get the text. Okay, so every time we are going to get the text, element dot get text. Here I'll say that if text dot equals to some value like it is 45. Otherwise, we are going to say that text so less than or equal to, if this set less than or equal to 45, this will not compare the value. Okay. So in that case, what we have to do is like, we'll get the text and if the text is matching, we need to convert this text to the int type. Okay. Because we have to compare that. Okay. So here we are getting that text and we are taking int slide value is equals to. So how do we convert this text to the integer? So we have a wrapper class. Okay. So we say that integer dot parseInt of text. So we'll get the value. If slide value is equals to is greater than all. Let's put some condition. So what is that? Greater than. If it is greater than 45, then we'll break it. Okay. It's very simple, guys. We are getting the text. We are scrolling to that element and we are getting the text of that element. And this text is like directly we are getting is like integer value and the slide value will be compared. If it is greater than 45, then it will break. That's nothing but I want to come out of this particular loop. Okay. So you can put here is like you can just put the while loop also. It's not only like, you can use the for loop or while loop. Just it's like we can use a while loop also. While I is, or you want to scroll wherever you want, like I is greater than. So initially we need to put some value of I. So then we know number of iterations, right? So as we discussed, like if you know the number of iterations that we want to perform, we can use for loop. If you are not aware, like a number of iterations that we can perform or based on the condition we want to execute, then we can go and use the while loop. Okay. So while loop, if you want to use it, you can just say that int I is equals to 0 while I is less than or equal to 45. Then take the condition, put the I plus plus here. Okay. So we'll try to first execute this and see if it is working fine. Then we'll go ahead with the while.
parseInt.
So parseInt is like integer.parseInt is like it will convert that string value into the integer. Okay, so if you want to convert the string value into the float, then we can use the float.parseFloat. Okay, so I'll show you like how do we exactly.
Okay.
We'll discuss about it. Now you see it stopped. It came out of that particular loop. Okay, so for 45 is like it's coming here and checking for the condition. Like what is the value? Yeah, here we have like 47. 47 is greater than 45. It's breaking. Okay. So this is working fine for the case of int. I want to check for the while. I is greater than or equal to 45. So int I is equals to 0. I plus plus. me close this one. I've written the condition wrongly. That's something that I is less than or equal to 45. So it will never get into that while loop because the condition is false. Yes, doing the same thing. Okay. Yeah. So I'll address this question here. So this is like one thing that we can do, and I'll just make it very simple. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is like, see here, integer that parse int, what it does is like it will convert. We'll get the text here. Right? So text is like we are getting whatever text that we have as part of this particular slide. Okay. So I'll go to this custom slide. I can see this is nothing but the text. Okay. So go and identify it and you can see the text here. Okay. In the text that we are getting. Okay. So this is the text that we are getting. So how do we convert this text into the integer so that we can just evaluate some set of condition on it? So in that case, what we do is like we are going to use integer.parsing. Okay. So to convert this one into a string, it's very simple. String s is equals to this. You need to do is like slide string dot value of. You can use dot value of whatever the value that you want to put. Okay. So here we have to put the slide. So now this has converted into a string. Okay. So to convert a string to integer, then we can use this wrapper class. Okay. So integer, what it does is like it's an object, actually wrapper class for the int data type. So what it does is like it's going to convert. See, the integer class wraps a value of the primitive data type. Okay. Int in a object. An object of a type integer contains a single field hold whose type is integer. Okay. See, now what happens is like I want to convert this particular string into the integer. Okay, into data type. Okay, with the help of an integer. Integer is like wrapper class. This wrapper class, what it does like it will convert that particular string into the int. So here it is converting it. Okay, you can see it is converting it, and then after we are trying to again convert into the string. Okay, so likewise we can convert the values. Okay, so now in case of condition, I want to check for the condition, right? So if condition only accepts, what is that? It exactly accepts is like comparison of the values. Okay, you can compare string to string, integer to integer. Likewise, you can compare the value, but we cannot compare string to the integer. Okay, into data type. So that is the way what I'm doing is like I'm just using this wrapper class and converting that string into the value. Then I'm comparing this, and if this matches, then I'm going to break this. Otherwise, it will try to scroll this element forever. Like it will keep on, like it will not release it because we are not matching with any minimum of the condition. So you can try changing this one also, like you can drag it and check for the condition, drag it and check for the condition. Okay. So if it meets like 150, 200 or something, $200, okay, greater than $200 or 200, you can break it. Okay. So use the same things here. Okay. So it is also similar. Drag it, check for the condition, drag it, check for the condition. Likewise, we have to check it. So here also, it's kind of like only just setting up the dates. Okay. So generally we'll get this set of things. Okay. For example, you take this TFC bank loan. See, you have the sliders here. Okay, sliders from back to front. If you want to go back to front, you can use this here also. Like you'll see. So right click is not given here. So directly we can use F12. Okay. So if right click is not working, then if you want to get the developer tools, guys, you need to click F12. Okay, so F12 is the option. Now just go here and try to identify here. So we have a slider also. This is a slider. Okay, so range slider handle. So here, when you slide, you can see the values which are changing here. So that is nothing but it is in this particular class. The new class, in that we have range here. Okay, but what is that we want to validate when we slide this? We want to validate this value. Okay, so we got the slider. Try doing this examples, guys. Okay, so it is very easy. Just you need to verify this value. Okay, what is that value that you want? Input field. You can see input field and you'll get the value of it. Okay, so let me just top right. So here I'm trying to identify the value of it. Put input ID and we have some value of it. Okay, so this is internally we have some value. Span. We'll go and check. Yeah, you can see the value here. Okay, so it will get you the value, get the attribute. Okay, attribute value, and you'll keep on checking this slide. It is exceeding some 8 lakhs or something. Okay, first it is like, where is this exactly? Which is like, initial stages where it is. What is the value that it's showing? Let's 5 lakhs. Okay, drag it till like greater than, if it is greater than 15 lakhs, then you can break it. Okay, start from 5 lakhs and you can just drag and drop. So you have to drag it, check the value, drag it, check the value. Okay, so the same thing that we can apply here. See what I did. So I'm dragging it and I'm checking the value. Okay, if that value is greater than 45, then I'm breaking it. So same thing, you have to identify that element here and you have to drag that element and check for the value. Okay, so checking the value, we have to identify that element. Okay, so let's try to go and try to do that one also. We'll take different site here. I'll say slide handler. Okay. Actually, if we can access that, let's try. We have many range sliders. You can see that. So we have to identify one out of it. View that class. How many sliders are there? Altogether, we have 3 sliders. Okay, out of which we want only 1 slider. Okay, we get only 1 slider. Okay, so for this, what is that condition that we can do is like putting some set of pixels here. So just I'm dragging it, I'm checking, I need to check the value. Okay, so I'll take less than or equal to 45. Okay? I'm assuming that I want to drag it for 45 times. Okay, so within that 45 times, I may get value hit here. Okay, so and here what I want to do is like I want to get the text of that element. What is the text that I can actually get? It is like I can use window handles dot get the element y dot xpath, and here I need to get the value of it, right? So value of it is like I want to get the actual value of it. So value would be written as a string. We dot find element y dot. So we want to get the And directly we can take this one, get attribute of that. First we'll try to identify the element. Get attribute. Oh, this is not here. Try to identify this one. So which is available. You can see ID is like amount. Control F and you can just search for this. Okay. So input at that ID is equals to amount. Okay. So we have this. Get the attribute of value. Again, same thing you can do. So it's going to return. Use this string. Okay, so you'll get this value, but slide value is like something. If it goes greater than, this is like 15,000, 1,50,000, and what we are trying to do is like we are trying to identify this value. So whatever value we are getting, and we are converting into the integer, then we are comparing it. Okay, so I'll try to run this code. Let's see that. Because bank sites does not, it's like secured sites, right? So let's see that if we try to access it, what happens in this case. We have to handle all these things, otherwise it doesn't. Okay. So it is trying to identify that element here. It's like waiting for that element to be located. XPath handler 1, write for 30 seconds and it just skipped it. Okay. So let me just do one thing. I'll try to put some weight here. Is that, do we have any frames here? We don't have any frames here, guys. Okay. I just use frames for that. So it's like trying to identify that element. Okay. Throwing the exception because the C is like, it's like for input type. Okay. Number format exception. Okay. It is format exception that we got. Okay. We have to take the long here because this value doesn't fit into the integer. Okay. Right. It is trying to click on hold. I'll just do one thing, guys. I'll just wait for after loading this. I'll be getting that allow and log, right? So that notification I'll be handling it manually. So we need to just, we have code for that also. Okay. To handle those things. We can discuss little later. there is some exception which it is showing, like number format exception. So this is like from where it is moving now. It is clicked and moved it actually. Okay, so you can see it is clicked and moved. That is the reason why we got this value. Okay, so now if you refresh this, so it clicked, but it is moving, it should move forward. Okay, so what we are getting, whatever value we are getting is like this value is kind of like the string value that it's not getting converted into the, so that is the reason why we're getting the number format exception. See, number format for input string, this particular value it's not able to convert to the number. Okay, so let's see that what we can do as part of this. Here, I want to see what is that value that we are getting. So here it is a value. Okay, so value that should be converted as part of a string. So for that we can do one thing is like we can convert this, say 7 comma 27 comma 370. See what it is doing is like it's trying to convert that value into the long. Okay, but I'll try to convert into the amount actually. Okay, let's see that if we have that option available or not. Okay, but okay, let's do one thing. I'll add one more condition here. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is like I'll take the string text is equals to text plus text dot remove replace whatever we have is like comma is right. So just we can I'm just replacing the text. Okay, so replacing whatever values that we have like commas will be replaced with this particular number. So let's first try to print this value. So what is the value that we are getting? After that we can convert. Okay, so let me just go ahead and try to. It's not able to convert that number. Okay, so that is the reason why, because we have commas in it. So I'm just replace first. I will replace first and replace all of them. Replace character with character. So it is again, it's kind of like we are getting this value. It's not replacing this. Actually, I want to replace this value. Okay. So otherwise, we can go and use this text dot remove. Replace all. Regular expression that we are going to give. So it should convert it actually. So I need to check this one. So why is it not converting? But it should convert, okay? It should replace this. It should like, I'm just printing it. And what is that value that it is printing is like, this is what the value that it is printing. So, okay. Because it should be a value that we are trying to get the value out of it, and just we have this text which is like replacing. Then okay, yes, let me check this one, because once we replace this, then the value that, see here it is throwing the exception. So that is the reason why it's like still like it's not able to get that. Let me do one thing. If I can use the try catch blocks and handle that, then continue that particular execution, that also quite possible. We can just continue this and we'll see that. At least like we'll be checking for the slides. Okay. So I want to do 5 slides at least. So if I get any set of exception here, okay. So from here, I'll get the text out of it. And from here, I'm going to use a try block. Catch. Exception E. After this, I'll be continuing with the scrolling at least. Okay, I'll put this one inside this. But here, it will come here, it will try to catch this and it will continue with this. Okay, so let's see that at least it should do some. So scrolling is happening here, but the only thing is like there is a number format exception because that particular value is not getting converted into the number. Okay, so for that number, we can just convert that value into the string. So we can use date formatter or data formatter for that, and we can just check that one. So what happened? Okay, we need to add one more. So at least I want to check whether it is sliding or not. Okay, so these are the kind of real-time challenges, guys. So we need to address these things. See what it is doing now? Can you see? It is changing its number. The 5 times it did and it stopped here. Okay, so iterations are completed. So it's nothing but just it's like kind of the exception will get, but exceptions will be got, and you see what are the values that we are getting. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 times we got it. Okay, let's take that. Let me just. We cannot compare with when we are trying to do the comparison in the numbers, right? It's better to have the number comparison the number. You take the string. Okay, how do you compare the string here? It's if it is not equals to something, then we can do something. Otherwise, if it is equals to or something, then we can do something. But greater than, less than, in that case, what happens is like we have a other comparator or compilable. Those are the things that we have to use, and we can compare the values here. Okay. So, but now you see that we are able to scroll it, but only thing is like I need to check this one. It should replace this values actually. So let me take it as like a text is equals to text and try to replace this. And then after I'm going to use that text. Okay. Let's see that if it replaces and it's going to give the new text. I did a mistake here. 1 second. Now it is like it's replacing. 1 second. So we can take L25. Okay. So I did not put it in a new string. So that is the reason why it was like, replacing it, but it did not take the new string here. Okay. Let me just try to run this program. Now it's see. Now it is sliding. Okay. Now we are getting the values. What is that? 15,000. If it is greater than the value that we are taking is like greater than 15,000, then it should stop it. Okay. Now you see it has stopped. So what is that we are getting? Last value is like 15. So it is like if it is greater than that, then we have to break it. Okay. So we need not to use try. Try is like we are getting some number format, right? So I want to catch it, and after that I want to see like it's kind of like again continuation. It will come to this for loop and it will check for this. Again, it will like kind of like whenever we get the exceptions, if you want to carry the execution, though the exception is occurred, in that case, we can go ahead and use this particular piece of code in that particular catch and try and catch block. Okay. So now you see that we got this right. So we try to check with the real-time application. So kind of thing. You can see the slider should be slided, and if you want to stop only when it is like greater than 15 lakhs. Okay. The amount whatever we are getting it is like 15 lakhs. Here also it is similar. So you can go and get that. And if you want to go for 5 years, and so these are the things, guys. Okay. So we'll be using this actions classes to do this set of actions here. Okay. So directly you can use drag and drop. Otherwise, you can click and hold, and you can move to like whatever we want to use. Okay. So we have looked into this examples, right? This first example for using this click and hold, drag and drop alone. And after that, we use move to element, and we use the same things for multiple sliders, and we use the custom slide also. Custom slide is like the condition based on the condition. If it is greater than 45, you just break it. And here also we looked into the slide handler like on the real-time application like HDFC Bank. You can just go ahead and you can try these examples. Okay. So with this, we have completed actions classes, but still there are things like, how do we use this? Control A, Control C, Control V. So these things we'll discuss down the line. Okay. Whenever like we are using some upload and downloading of the file state, there I'm going to show you how do we exactly use that. Okay. So it's also simple, but I can just give an example here. So if you want to paste something. Okay. So we'll try to cover that one also. So if you are just, entering this one. So if you want to do the control A, and if you want to move to this next element and you want to paste it. Okay. So sorry, control A, control C, move to the next element, control V. Okay. I want to do these actions. Okay. So how do I do it is like, I'll write a simple program for this, guys. It will be faster. It doesn't take much time. I'll name it as like code actions. Okay. Code actions. So we'll say code actions here. And to save our time, I'm going to take this code. We'll be writing it really quick. We are taking one static void main string arguments. Fiber. Demo.html. Then I'm going here and trying to identify this element. Inspect. So we have input. And what is that? Yes, folder. We'll see. Input. get that placeholder is equals to result value that we have. Okay, so this is happening because we just renamed it. Okay, so what is that? We have a placeholder first name. You can see this is available. Now I'll go to this element. Okay, take web element. Element is equals to d dot find by dot xpath, then write this, and you got the element. So action dot clicking on this element. Dot build dot perform. After this, what I'm going to do is like action dot keys. Action dot send keys. Okay, keys dot or so here what we have to do is like we have to raise the keys like control. So what is that keys? Keys dot control. Let's see. Okay, so control plus A. So there are two things that you want to do it, right? So you can use this control plus A. So after that, control plus C. After that, what you are doing is like you are going to so move to the next one, right? So next tab. So perform. So here also we have to use build dot perform. So here also you need to use build dot let's see this. Okay, so now what we are trying to do is like we are entering some data into this particular element. We are clicking on that element. After that, I'm doing control A, control C. Okay, so it's copying it and click on tab. After that, it will paste that particular value to the next cell, next available element. Okay. Control A, C test type. Okay, just let me check this one. Is comma, otherwise we can use should press it actually control A, control C, but it's not in. Let me just check it again, guys. So keys dot action dot send keys, and then we are using control comma A. Let me use directly keys. It should perform this action. So let me take capital A at least. I can see that if it works. So what we are trying to do is like just we are copying it and pasting it. Okay? Plus. So chord actions, what they do is like they'll club these two actions at a time. Okay. So if you say keys dot chord, then what it does is like it will do this control A, control C, control V. Or if you want to do shift A, shift C, shift B, like whatever you want to do. Yeah, this is not working in this case. Sometimes it is like kind of challenges what we have in actions classes. So it should work, but let me just try this one. So what I can do is like I'll take this one as like a string. So I dot and here we have this actions.
I think it's sending the keys.
Sorry.
I think it's sending the keys. So it's capital one of the C.
Look, I'm not able to hear you properly, Kash, actually. Okay, let me try this one. There is another ways also. Not to worry. Like we can try to identify the element. So whichever way, like if you want to just move to that element and tab on that element, so that also quite possible. So here I'm going to take which element that you want to perform. Like so here we're taking the element 1. So action dot we are clicking on that element. Which element you want to click? No, we're clicking it. After that, I'll take that element dot send keys. And you can perform this, first we are trying to perform the send keys on this element and we don't use this build dot perform. And after this, I want to move to this element. Okay. So control A, control C should be done on the same elements. And after that, so where is that? From where you want to perform the tab? This is the tab that you want to perform. And here, you want to paste this. Okay, we'll remove this and we'll try this one. Okay, so this earlier one we can just take them as like a string and we can perform. We'll try with this. Yeah, now I do it. Okay, now you see, so it is performing the actions. So we can still take them as like kind of if you want to take them as like a string. Control A is equals to some value. But what is that we have to do is like we can just capture them in the form of this, and after that element dot send keys, and you can the okay. So this will also work fine. Okay. Now we are just taking these actions into a string and then we are passing it as like a parameter to this. Okay, let's go and execute this. See, it is copying and control A is nothing but see, it's like control A, control C, and it's coming here control B. Okay, tab, clicking on tab, and it is working. So this is a chord actions. If you want to perform any set of sequence of actions like 2 actions, 3 actions that you want to do, okay, control shift C, control shift D. So in that case, we can go ahead and use this one. Okay. So for example, if you want to open a new tab, so you can go here. Okay, context click. And if you want to perform some like, you can see when you click on this, or here you can see new tab. So control W, when you see control W, it will open a new window. Control W, okay, closing a new window. It's like control W, it is closing a new window. Control T, it will open a new tab. Okay. So likewise, we can just use this. Okay. So one option is like we can directly use that actions classes even it will allow, but now I think it could be an enhancement. So here you can, otherwise it will not allow. Okay, you can see chord actions. You have to provide this sequence. Okay. So after this, what is that key that you want to perform? You can perform like control anything. If you want to click on enter and enter equals everything, whichever key that we have available on the keyboard, that we can use it here. Okay, so after this directly we can use this one as part of like, if you want to open a new send keys dot code action keys dot control comma, you can give T. Okay, let's try to do this. Okay, so it should open a new tab. On the window we have to perform, but it's like driver we have opened, right? So let me use perform. It's not clicking on. Let me check this one, guys. Okay, so there can be a little enhancement over here. So we can go to the card function. It will allow you to see. It will show you what is that. Simulates pressing many keys at once in card. Okay, so it takes a sequence of keys like keys.x to our strings. We can just pass them. Okay, so here we have like one method, and the another one is like, you can see iteratable, and you can use a sequence of things, character sequence. Okay, plus C plus D, whatever you want to do. Okay, so you can just use that one. So only one action is like directly you can use keys.tap. Okay, if you have two actions at a time, then we can use keys.control plus C. Okay, so this is how we'll be performing. Okay, so these are the things that we can perform as part of like code actions. So let me check this one. Last one, it should open, but I think I need to have the element available. So on that element, I can perform the actions. But directly, if you want to perform something on this window, so if you are taking like context click, after that you want to perform this, that should also available actually. Context click dot send case dot build dot perform. Otherwise, it will not show up all these options. Okay. Okay. So context click it did, but it did not perform this send keys. Directly we cannot use this. You give this kind of things. Okay. So if you want to append something to this, you have to have this. What should be used in append in congestion to this send keys. Okay. So now you can see send keys dot chords, or you can directly use it to the congestion of send keys. Okay, I'll check this one, guys. Don't worry. So you may be mostly using these things. Okay, when you want to use two actions at a time. So, okay, key plus keys and the controls and the key that you want to use. Okay, the character that you want to use. Okay, guys, I'll stop it here. So tomorrow we'll be starting with TestNG. Okay, please practice this and let me know if you have any doubts. So mostly I've covered all the actions that we want to perform, like click, move to element, drag, drop, scrolling, sliding, and like multiple actions that we can perform with the help of like keys. Okay, so then we have like robo classes. We'll discuss when we discuss about the uploading of the files. Okay, so there we are going to discuss. Robo is a separate class. Okay, it's a kind of a framework that we have. So these are the actions classes, guys. If you come across anything, please let me know so we can cover that one also. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, guys. Bye.